What's up guys, Mitchell Watts with Town & Country TV, bringing you a completely different style of a video than you've ever seen before. Today we are at the Rockford Gun Club in Alabama, and we are so excited to give you not just a review of the Ford F-250 Tremor, but an entire review based on what the customers experience. And so we're so glad that Tim invited us to Rockford Gun Club, and you're going to be seeing and hearing his opinion because this is his actual truck. So that is coming up next on Town & Country TV. As you can see, this is the 2020 F-250 Tremor, and this is one of the hottest trucks that we've ever had as far as the Super Duty is concerned. And the reason for that is this particular truck, I intended to do a review on it while it was here, but the customer could not wait any longer, so he immediately picked it up. But one of the things you'll notice, obviously, and we're going to cover this in a little bit more detail in just a second, but you've got the beefed up suspension, you've got the Goodyear off-road tires, you've got the blacked out wheels. That is synonymous with the Tremor package. Now, keep them moving around to the backside of the truck. You can see that obviously this one's built on a Lariat. You can get this particular version in an XLT, a Platinum, a Lariat. There's a lot of different options there, and we're going to cover that a little bit more. But as you can see, you've got the shocks that actually say Tremor on the shock, and you've even got the Tremor logo right here on the bedside of the truck. And what I'm going to do now is we kind of open up the tailgate. You'll kind of see the real reason that we're here. And this is Tim from Alabama Arsenal. If you have not checked out his YouTube video, you need to make sure you do so. It's going to be linked down below. But Tim, what are we here to do today?
Well, today we are at Rockford Gun Club, and we're going to do some shooting, some long-range shooting. We're going to walk you guys out from 100 all the way to 1,000 yards. We'll be using several different guns, but one of them will be this Barrett MRAD with a Leupold Mark V HD scope, running the CGS Hyperion suppressor, chambered in 300 PRC. It's a lot of fun.
So 1,000 yards, I guess at this point you're going to see how bad of a shot that I am and see how good of a marksman he is. So if you've not checked out his channel, you definitely need to do so. He's a great customer of ours. He's bought a slew of trucks from us. We appreciate him, but if more importantly than that, he's got a fantastic YouTube channel. If you like guns, make sure to check out his channel. Definitely do so. So let's go ahead and get back to the rest of the walk around on the truck, if that's okay. So I'm going to go ahead and shut the tailgate back. And one of the things that I want to show you, I'm going to come back up here to the side. As I've already mentioned to you, this particular Tremor, if you probably can't see it, so I might have to put it on B-roll, but the shocks that you can see in the rear, they're actually different than a normal F-250 shock. And the reason for this, a lot of people say, what's the Tremor? Like if you had to summarize what is an F-250 Tremor, it is that customer that, man, a Raptor is what I need. That's what I want in a truck, but I need it to actually tow. This is your truck, because a lot of people said, oh, you know, the Tremor has got more of a towing capacity or it's got less of a towing capacity. It does have a lot more towing capacity than the Raptor does, but it is not as much as a normal Super Duty. So you do take a small little hit as far as a towing capacity is concerned, but trust me, this thing still will tow your house down, especially with that 6.7 diesel. I mean, you're talking about massive amounts of torque, massive amounts of power, and a great option all along. Now, the other thing I want to show you is that you actually have, for the first time ever in a Super Duty, you actually have a full-size spare. So as you can see, the spare wheel and tire actually matches that of the normal rest of the other four. So normally on an F-250, they cheap out and go with some cheap tires and cheap wheel. It's just designed to get you where you need to go in case you have a flat tire. But in this particular situation, it is actually designed to match it. So it's a small little hint of detail that I think that Ford absolutely hit the nail on the head. Now let's do this. Let's take a look at the inside of the truck. On the inside of this particular truck, as I mentioned to you, this is a real world review from not just me, but also the consumer that has bought this, Tim, as you just met him. But what you get on the inside of this truck is you get the heated and cooled seats, because this is the Lariat trim level. And I love the way that this leather looks. As you can see, it's got the stitching on the seats. This is the Ford factory leather, and that is one of my favorite things about this truck, is that air conditioned seats. Now, if you live way up north and it never gets hot, maybe you don't necessarily need the air conditioned seats, but it is something to know nonetheless. Now, looking at the center console, this is one of my favorite things about the Super Duty, is you've actually got 4 cup holders up front. And so as I move these drinks of Tim's, you can slide it over. Now you've got bigger space for bigger items in the center console. Slide it back, and you're right back to where you were to having 4 drink cup holders. I wish the F-150 actually offered that similar type of a cup holder when you have the center, or when you have the shifter on the column. So pretty cool stuff there. Now let's do this. Let's take a look at the rear seat. And one of the things that I love about this Super Duty, when they came to the new body style in 17, they actually gave you the same cab configuration as the F-150. A lot of people didn't realize this, but prior to 17 Super Duties, the cab in the rear was smaller than the F-150, and they actually had a different name for it. Now that the F-150 and the F-250 share the same cab configuration, you actually get a lot more space in the rear as well. Now, the other thing I want to show you, and I'm so glad that Tim actually left all of his stuff out here so you can kind of see what it's like to actually own something like this. But you've got the leather in the rear, and you've also got the heating option. I'm not sure if this particular truck is optioned with it, but you do have the option for heated seats in the rear. But one of the things I can't necessarily show you right now, so I'm gonna put it on B-roll footage as well, is you've got this storage compartment underneath the rear seat. So if you are a gun lover like we all are, you can actually lock the seat here with this keyhole, and you can actually store some of the firearms underneath that rear seat out of mind, and it is also going to be completely locked. Now, it's not a safe or anything, but it's just designed to keep prying eyes away from that. So with that, let's do this. Let's get Tim's honest and real world feedback on what he thinks about this truck. And I told him, I said, no holds barred. If you hate something about the truck, let us know. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get Tim in here.
I've driven F-250s for a long time, and I prefer an F-250. Even if I didn't need an F-250 for work, if I could afford it, I would drive an F-250. I love the luxury and the power, and it just feels like you own the road when you're driving an F-250. I've driven them for a while for my day job, and I've come to love them. This is, I think, the 3rd F-250 I bought from y'all, and it's probably the most impressive. It's it's nice. I fell in love with the Tremor package, with the wheels and the tires. And like you said earlier, I've always wanted a Raptor. I think Raptors are super cool, but they don't work for me.
Yeah.
I need to be able to tow.
Yeah.
So I thought it was awesome when Ford built a package, kind of like the Raptor. I know it's not quite that far, but it's kind of like the Raptor, but it's for us 250 guys that need that towing capacity every day. So I really love the package. I love the wheels. I love the sportier configuration. It's an awesome truck. Everything about it, the interiors, I'm sure you've gone over 100 times, are super luxurious.
Yeah.
Been getting spoiled by it. I think my first F-250 body was like XLT, and it was kind of a little rough, but now I'm up to Lariat, so it's nice. But anyway, like really the only complaint I have about this truck, and it's a small little nitpicky thing. I love that there's wireless charging now in the dash, but it's a small little compartment, and I've got an iPhone Max, and it's kind of hard for me to get my phone up in there.
Oh yeah.
I know that's a little nitpicky thing, but
First world problems,
right? First world problems. It's really the only problem I have with this truck.
Absolutely. No, I know exactly what you're saying, because I've had similar things. The Expedition, they're all located in the same place, and whoever that engineer that designed that, they are obviously rocking like an iPhone 2. So, Tim, we appreciate it very much. More importantly, we appreciate the fun time that we're going to have today here at the range. And so what we'll do now, I guess we'll cut to some of the footage of me attempting to make you said a 1,000-yard shot?
If you can make it all the way that far, we'll go 1,000.
Sweet. Tim, thank you so much for having us, man. Thank you for being a great customer of ours. And man, thank you for allowing us to participate. Once again, you need to check out their YouTube channel. It's awesome. Alabama Arsenal.
We review guns, firearms, and accessories. We've been doing it for a while. We try to make the guns more the focus and not, try to force some weird personality onto you guys, and try to educate you and entertain you at the same time. If you need to know anything about firearms, if we've reviewed that product, you'll leave the video feeling like you now understand the product and haven't wasted your time.
That's awesome, man. Well, and I'll personally vouch for that. I've been a subscriber for quite some time. You need to check them out. Once again, linked button down below. And if you guys have any other questions about this truck, about anything really that we've talked about in this video, please let us know. The comments are going to be down below. Make sure you leave those. And if you haven't already done so, make sure you stay subscribed to our channel with the bell notification turned on so you don't miss a single video.